Here's the problem with charging the United States for human rights abuses against American African people. We identify as Americans. Because we identify as Americans, it automatically takes us out of the jurisdiction of world court. You see that? The world court is for nations and populations who don't operate under a jurisdiction to which they claim loyalty. You see that? We claim loyalty and citizenship with the United States of America. Because of that, we are not under the jurisdiction of the world court. We will cling to that red, white, and blue flag like it's the last thing on earth, because deep down inside we know we are not and never will be accepted as. You see that? But the minute we wake up and finally admit we are not Americans and we're not losing nothing by renouncing it, now we can go to the world court. You better understand that there's something called tough love. Tough love. We don't punish our kids because we hate them. We punish our children because we know how tough it is out in that world. Your house is a training ground for your sons and daughters to succeed in this racially competitive Massachusetts society.
Facts. Facts.
How you going to spoil a child who got to work twice as hard to get half as much? How you spoiling a child who got to work twice as hard to get half as much? And that's exactly what we're doing. And then they come into the school and expect the teachers to do the work for them. They don't want to apply themselves or anything. We have to blame ourselves. And black men have to take a lot of this responsibility, because for the mothers who are raising sons on their own without the benefit of a father being present, those of us who are present in the community, we tend to look the other way and not lend out a helping hand. The boys are the responsibility of the men, period. That's African culture. Whether that's your biological son or not, the boys in the hood are the responsibility of the men. And one of the most scathing examples of black male demasculinization is when we walk by black mothers struggling with black boys and refuse to help them unless we can get a little cookie for the nookie, a quid pro quo. We have to start working with these black boys because it's our job to do it. Because nobody's going to save the black community but black people. I don't know why we keep sitting around waiting for white folks to save the black community. Y'all sitting around waiting for an Asian mayor back in Boston to save the black community. Okay? Nobody comes to America to help black folks. Let me say it one more time. Nobody comes to America to help black folks. Let me say it one more time. Nobody has ever come to America to help black folks. If you know a group of people that have ever come to this country in its 270-something year history, please name the group that came to America to struggle with black folks. They might use you for a minute. They might act like they're your friend for a minute until they get what they want, and then they forget about you. If you don't believe me, go study the history of black-white Jewish relations. They were once our friends until they got what they needed. Now they don't even know you no more. The only friends we got is each other, and the only friends we need is one another. The problem is we don't want to unite because we got a whole bunch of schisms and isms. If we ain't fighting over light skin, dark skin, if we ain't fighting over Muhammad, Jesus, if we ain't fighting over ghetto and bougie, if we ain't fighting over nappy hair and straight hair, if we ain't fighting over black weave or blonde perm, there's always something keeping Negroes at each other's throats. The petty differences will destroy us if we don't get over it. I was in Chicago about 2 weeks ago. Got a first-hand account of the migrant crisis. They're literally purging black Chicago with migrants, literally. Taking black people's tax dollars and funding people who come from another country. And I'm not against the migrants. They didn't do nothing to me. But the power structure is using them to replace us. And because we're so disorganized, it's easy for them to do it. And the reason they want to break up black Chicago is the only predominantly black U.S. congressional district in the country. That's why Barack Obama had to become a senator, U.S. senator through Chicago, Carol Mosley Braun, because it's a black senatorial district. They want to bust that up and turn it into a migrant district. Because the thinking is, if we could take Chicago back and if we could take New York City back from the blacks, we can easily destroy Boston blacks. We can easily destroy Philadelphia blacks. We can easily take Virginia blacks. So you better be paying attention to what's happening in New York and Chicago, because those are our two strongest and our most conscious black political economic power bases. Once they disintegrate them, the rest of us are done. Now you got a presidential election coming up next November. This is probably one of the most irrelevant elections of all time for black folks, because neither candidate has anything on the table for you. And they don't have to put anything on the table for you, because we're not organized enough to force a conversation on the things that matter to us. The reason LGBTQ get what they want, because they're organized and they use their money and their votes in a systemic way. The reason European Jews and other groups get what they want, because they are organized and they harmonize their political activity. They use their money and their votes in a consistent way. Black people still married to the Democratic Party plantation. You don't vote as black people, you vote as Democrats. You don't vote as black people, you vote as Republicans. Neither one of them got to take you seriously. Neither one of them got to take you seriously. Black folks will never be taken seriously in an election until we chain our votes together and operate as a community.
I have a question about the brother Brandan Depa.
Yes, sir.
So what's the minimum he's going to get?
It's up to the judge. The judge could give him, first of all, he was originally tried as a juvenile.
Yeah, I remember the case.
They upgraded it to adult once the video circulated around the news. The snow bunnies went crazy, and the judge upgraded it, right?
Yeah.
So the judge could give him as little as probation, as much as 30 years. And that's why we're going to be out there.
Yeah, because I remember you saying the lawyer didn't do anything. He pleaded.
The lawyer made him plead guilty.
Yeah.
The lawyer made the 17-year-old boy plead guilty. Why would you make this boy plead guilty when you know he didn't get any of the services that he should have? He should have never even been at the school. He was a victim, man. Even his foster mother talked about how when he was a kid growing up, the white kids used to pick on him. I think they called him the N-word. They would rub the tennis ball in their testicles and throw it at him. Like he was racially abused. And I believe when he attacked her, I'm not making no excuses, but he was a victim. When he attacked that white woman, I believe that triggered his post-traumatic stress from all those racial bullying incidents he had to deal with his whole life. The lawyer didn't do him justice, bro. And you know what's sad? The reason why we coming? He's had no black people in his life. His adoptive parents are white. The judge is white. The school is white. And he's dark. He's a deeply melanated brother. Nappy hair, traditional, stereotypical black boy. He never had no black people show him no love. So we going to be there. To show him
Hold on, brother. Hold it back. I know you do. A lot of people in this room want to do the same. Since it's your turn. Thank you for holding your peace. Appreciate you not cussing me out.
Brother Umar,
Yes,
pleasure
sir.
to meet you.
Good to
My
see
name's
you.
Danny. You spoke about the Geneva Convention and charging the United States of America with war crimes against
Yes, sir.
us. I just wanted you to expound more on that. How can we get there? What are the necessary steps to get there? What do we expect from them charging the United States of America? What should we get? And what should it look like? And how can we get that to come to fruition? Because
Good
that is
question.
very important.
Good question. Honorable Marcus Garvey was on that path. El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, Malcolm X was on that path. Here's the problem with charging the United States for human rights abuses against American African people. We identify as Americans. Because we identify as Americans, it automatically takes us out of the jurisdiction of world court. You see that? The world court is for nations and populations who don't operate under a jurisdiction to which they claim loyalty. You see that? We claim loyalty and citizenship with the United States of America. Because of that, we are not under the jurisdiction of the world court. We would have to disidentify from our so-called American citizenship, declare ourselves a separate people, whatever that may be, victims of America, displaced Africans, whatever name we want to come up with. The people, the village of Raekwon, whatever y'all want to call it. Hey, you in the corner.
Shut up!
Laugh, mama. But my point is, disidentify, come up with our own name, whatever we want to be called, and then we take the charges. But I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. The biggest barrier is psychological. Black people are still in pursuit of acceptance by Caucasians. We are the most psychologically homeless people in America. Do you understand? We will cling to that red, white, and blue flag like it's the last thing on earth because deep down inside we know we are not and never will be accepted as. You see that? But the minute we wake up and finally admit we are not Americans and we're not losing nothing by renouncing it, now we can go to the world court.
Let's identify on a larger scale so everyone is understood that we're doing
We
it.
simply come together, declare ourselves an independent people, and lodge our petition.
So just
But as long as we're
declaration.
claiming American citizenship, we have no pathway to justice on the international level. Our only path to justice is American courts. You see that? Because we are American, so we are subject to their court structure. The minute we disidentify from that, now we can appeal to the world court.
Could they kick us out for disidentifying?
They've been trying for 2,000 years.
Well, that's a good point.
Possibly.
That's a good point. It's possible. But let me tell you why they couldn't, though. Let me answer your question. No, Because when you go on the UN website, where they talk about the rights of displaced populations, victims of genocide, so forth and so on, one of the conditions, you cannot be forcibly removed. So no, they couldn't. To be honest with you, if you look at that, we get more. We get more by disidentifying from America than identifying with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you say that again for the camera?
I got you.
We get more disidentifying from America and recognizing ourselves as an independent sovereign people on this soil than we would ever get as claiming American citizenship.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons why they always want us to come out and vote. They got to always whip us up into this American thing. Because if black people ever came to their senses and recognized we would do better off disidentifying from America, giving up your passport, giving up your driver's license, and living as a freeborn people, we have more rights. We have more rights as ethnic nationals living here than we ever would as American citizens. It's something we need to seriously think about as a people. And you don't have to be a Moor to do it. Shout out to the Moorish brothers. But they preach it as if you got to be a Moor. That's not true. Any independent nation, any group of asylum seekers, any victims of genocide. Because when you look at the Geneva Convention, every definition of genocide, America is guilty of it with us. Every single one. You see what I'm saying? So I believe we would do better off disidentifying and fighting as a united people.
Facts.
Let's clap it up for Doc.
Woo!
I know you three were waiting. You. I recommend go buy a book and he
Y'all better go somewhere with this nonsense. I wasn't born to be your damn friend. I was born to wake you up. I was born to smack the black out of you if you ain't proud of it. Have the Arabs apologized for African slavery yet? Have the Arabs paid us reparations for starting the slave trade? Have the Arabs done anything about the enslavement of Africans right now? Get the hell out of my face. I'm a black man. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. But if you think I'm going to take time away from my struggle for my race to save your race, you out your damn mind. You out your damn mind. Free Africa.